All right, same thing. We look at the swing. We're going to go back leg. Then we'll look at that front side, and then we'll look at that back arm. Remember that back leg? That's like our accelerator. Our accelerator, when we're, guys got a gun to our head, we're going to use that accelerator to get us started before we hit the wall, okay? And so that leg has got to get ready. And you can see, Miller is getting the leg ready. The front foot is unweighted. There's nothing on it. This back leg is loaded at that point, okay? But then what he does is he comes out here, he takes a little step, and he sets it down before that leg has made any sideways move. So remember when we did the sideways leg pushing? You see how his leg's pushing sideways before that foot gets down, and yours is doing nothing? Okay? And then watch the result, how Adrian unweights, and there's some sideways movement to the foot, and you're back there bug squishing. Have you ever heard of bug squish?
Yeah.
Squish the bug. Okay. So that's what you're doing, and that does not exist at high levels. Okay? I could throw like that. I could use my legs the way that you're using them to throw, okay? Okay, so I'm a pitcher, okay? I'm going to get here, okay? I'm going to come out of the stretch. See how stupid that looks?
Yeah.
But I can throw the ball. But it looks so stupid when we're throwing. So what you're doing is you're trying to create this force without anything coming from your back leg. This is what your swing looks like. It's the same.
Yeah.
Makes sense? The difference is in hitting, okay, we don't have the time that a pitcher has. It's more like being a shortstop, okay? But you can take the same idea. Okay, I'm playing shortstop, or I'm playing catcher. You're a catcher. Okay, here we go. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just spinning my foot. I've got to be quick, but I've got to drive. Okay, that's a big deal for you to get.
Yeah.
It's simple, but you have zero. I thought once you got live, it was going to be better than it was off the tee. I would even think that in the games, your body at some point says, this crap ain't going to work. I got to get some energy from somewhere. And I would bet in the games, you do a little more than that with it. Maybe not. Because it's like throwing without using your back leg at all. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So that back leg has to get ready, and it's got to abduct from the hip socket sideways on every damn pitch. Okay? Now see, he's driving sideways. Now once the weight gets here, okay, and the back leg unweights, now it's going to get up on the toe and turn over. But it's passive. The turning is passive. You see, it's a reaction to, not the cause of rotation. The rotating foot is the reaction to, not the cause of pelvic rotation. Okay? So what happens is, the weight comes to the front leg, we get a force from the ground, pushes on the front of the hip opens from the front. Okay? Okay, so we're getting a load with no unload. We just set it down, set the foot down with nothing going on. You've got to be, just like when you throw, you got to be unloading into foot plant. Does that make sense? This is not going to be easy. This is very simple. This is not going to be easy for you to overcome. I deal with it every day. You're going to want to, let me get that down, now let me go. You're not going to want to do that. You're not going to want to do it. You've been doing it that way a long time. But you've set a cap on how long you're going to play baseball that swing. That does not exist at high levels. If you're really big, there's some guys that can survive in college, especially with the aluminum bat, that can kind of just upper body the thing, because that's what you're doing. You're not using this to drive. You're not using your legs. It's just slipping. You could put your back foot on a sheet of ice and do what you're doing. You're not even using it. It's doing nothing. Okay. All right, so the back leg's got to get ready and it's got to go. Okay, so, as we take a look now, let's go to the front side. Again, we're going to take that front side and we're going to draw a line from the eyes all the way down through the foot. We're looking at that whole front side. Again, that's our wall that we're trying to drive into. Okay, so that back leg should get ready for looking at Adrian, and it should drive sideways. Okay, And you do kind of, especially off the tee, you kind of flop open. The swing in the bottom left, you flop open pretty bad. So you really want that wall to be sideways, but you're kind of like how he doesn't have a good brake. You don't have a good accelerator. Okay, so you never get the car going. He gets the car going fast, and he just kind of pumps the brakes. He has a weak front side. You don't even get the car going fast. You see what I'm saying? Mm. So you're going 10 miles an hour, and so there's really nothing to slam into with the front side. Okay, and you do stay fairly tilted, with your front side. Okay, I do think you turn open too much. See how square his feet stay sideways? Let's compare how his foot goes in the ground versus, say, these two bottom ones. See that? And now your knee doesn't flop open as bad as Reynolds' does. Okay? Yeah, that really flops open. That's pretty square. Okay, but your knee stays okay. Okay? And as we go through it, you got decent. If I'm looking at your spine, I can still kind of see your chest here, and there's a little bit of tilt to it. Let's look at your shoulders. You were talking about, how tilted your shoulders are. Okay, see, that's okay. That's okay. Nobody hits with, everybody's going to, shoulders shouldn't be even at contact. They're going to be slightly tilted. Okay? And really, we want to have as much tilt in that spine as we can get, as long as we're off the backside. So, see, Adrian's back foot is unweighted. He's tilted. Your back foot is still weighted. Look at that. Look at all that weight.
Yeah, I'm pushing off my
You're
toe.
not even pushing. You're just sitting back there.
Well, yeah.
No, but you're sitting back there. You think you're pushing through contact. You're not. You're just sitting back there. You're just leaving weight back there and turning. You're not pushing. You're not pushing through the ball. Back leg push isn't happening as you're hitting the ball. So it's not like, okay, here's the ball. Now let me push as I hit it. Like when you throw, okay? My push happens way before I let go of the ball. Right? I push, boom. This foot's off the ground. The ball's still in my hand. The push doesn't. You're not trying to get here. The ball's on you. Now you're going to push and swing at the same time. You don't think that's what's going on, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I just meant there's weight.
Any button back there, just keep pressing it.
Just keep pressing it
on the black box. Good. So before we even really, again, I think you're fairly well tilted there, okay, and your knee doesn't fly open, so I'm fairly okay with the front leg, although the bottom left one, I don't like to see the toe flop quite that much. But tilt you have doesn't matter because you're not going to get the guy out of the car because you don't ever hit the accelerator. Mm-hmm. You don't have enough energy in the swing. Okay? So even though that contact position from a body position standpoint, I'm fairly okay with, because we can almost draw a nice clean line here. You're tilted and as sharp as his. His angle is steeper. But that ain't bad. But you've got, it's not effective because you got nothing from the back side. Yeah. Okay? And you collapse when you tilt. See, all your weight is back there. Okay? There's no such thing as too much tilt, as long as you're off the backside. If you're not off the backside, then extra tilt's going to cause you to fall back. As long as there's no weight on that back foot and that bat is stacked, there's no such thing as too much tilt. Okay. On to the back arm. I'm going to start off with the positive. I love this position right here that you're in. Right here. The upper right here. Barrel is perfectly stacked on top of the hands. Elbows tucked in nice and tight. Okay, that's a nice position. I'm going to accelerate you a little bit. You're a little behind him. Okay. When you slide in there, you're in a nice tight position. It's pretty good. If you add some leg drive and widen that base a little bit, you might be fine. So we get to a pretty good position there. So let's take the back arm from start to finish, okay? And again, when we look at good hitters, we want to really activate the shoulder muscles, rotator cuff muscles, to move the elbow and not the hands. And so your elbow's dead. I'm not crazy about that. It doesn't really load at all. You don't really do much with it. It just kind of drops into the slot, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody's elbow is going to slot, and you're fairly bent there. He's a little more bent. Your swing, that's a pretty tight arc. Okay? You don't load these muscles when you get ready. It should feel more like that, like when you're a catcher taking the ball out of the glove to start it. Right. So you don't have anything that really starts the back arm. Okay? But there's really not how much load goes on with his back elbow. It starts lower, and then it works up. You even see more out of like Miggy Cabrera. There's nothing going on there. Elbow drops in pretty nicely. I like that right there. If you had more leg drive, you're in a pretty good position right there. Let's look at the finish. And we talked about we want to see that back arm closer to, and see he's closer to finishing his throw than Reynolds was. Reynolds is way back here. This one not maybe as good. This one okay. We want to be close to finishing. We're not going to be fully extended, but close to finishing. And I want to see how quickly he pronates pretty good off the tee. It's not too bad. There's he finished. Does he top hand release? Yes. Do you see the difference? I don't know if you see how he's finishing before he lets go. And one of the things that that Mark Gibraltar mentioned was that what keeps him going is his hand. In other words, that his hands is what makes him a good hitter. Maybe he's never told you that. The reason the ball jumps off is because you do pop the towel. Maybe not. You're not popping it as he beat you. It's already over. You see, you do pop the towel. You're not popping it as quickly. That's why he likes. That's what coaches can see. They usually don't know why they like your hands, but it's because your hands are turning over and you're popping the towel. You're cracking the whip. Okay, so you do finish the throw. So if you look at it as that sidearm throw, you want to see that elbow work up out of the glove. Elbow's going to go to our target, which should still really be bent with the bat stacked at that point. And I'm good with that. It's not bad. I'm not crazy about how much you let it behind your head here. Once the elbow gets in,
my coach has been telling me to not do that.
right. Once the elbow gets in here, you're in a pretty good spot, and then you do finish the throw. That arm is going to throw out and turn over. Okay. All right. These I made on that bio. Okay, so to summarize, Miller
Legs.
with the legs, the back leg's got to get ready and it's got to go. There is no go at all out of the back leg. Every pitch we see, we get ready before release and we unload sideways every time. There's no unload. Okay, the front side, really want to create a wall to drive into, but that's hard to do when you're not driving into it. But eventually when we get that back leg to go, we need to square up that front foot better. Keep the front knee well behind. See how the front knee's way behind the front foot? And with the upper body, we want to, again, create more tilt than turn. He's got some decent tilt there. Got some decent tilt going into the ball. Okay, but we want tilt to turn out of the upper body. Okay, last thing, the back arm. Okay, path should be, again, move the elbow, not the hands. The hands should stay down. Here, he doesn't really do anything to load. He kind of turns the shoulder in. Too much inward turn of the body. The body really shouldn't be turning in. We can do that in golf. We can't do that in baseball. Okay, we don't have the time to turn our shoulders way in. Okay, there's maybe a little bit of inward turn, but that's excessive. He has a dead back elbow. Okay, and the elbow just drops in. Okay, but we're in a pretty good stack position at this point. The elbow is bent, and as we throw to the ball, contact closer to finishing, we do pronate and finish our throw, and then we top hand release. Okay. So we need to add a load to the back arm, an unload to the back leg, and really focus on a firm, strong front wall to hit behind. All right, so here we go. Sync them all up to release. So y'all all release these at the same time. Now he's just doing a throwdown, so he's not even trying to be as quick as he normally is. You've already got the ball, way out of the glove, and he hasn't even got the ball in his hand yet. Okay, so you look at how different. Watch how he takes the ball out. Look at how extended your arm is. You got to change that. It's not going to work. I can fix it. It's very simple to fix. Very simple. Very simple.
I don't think I do that in practice.
You do.
I
You do.
do.
I've got a lot of money. I don't even need to. I don't even need to be there. People don't change the way they throw unless they make a conscious effort to do it. Okay. So we see how wide it is, and look how much more bent his elbow is. See, this is classic. If he was pitching, he'd tear his arm up because the elbow is so wide that this lever is so long.
He's got no leverage.
Well, there's a lot of torques working on these two joints because he's created such a long lever
It looks like Banks.
compared to this.
There's a kid that broke his arm at having it years back. Same thing.
Okay. So look how wide. Look at that. Look at the difference. Okay.
It's gonna be slow too.
And then now look at the head pulling off to the left, way over there, and everything is exposed. I mean, this is just if he were pitching a lot, he would have already had arm. You ever have any arm problems?
I usually last.
Pitch.
Not often. I'm just.
Okay. See how his elbow gets rushed way in front of him? See how his elbow's still behind him? And even when he releases it, his head is still kind of in front. So I mean, that just tells you the arm is rushed. There's two things going on here. He's over-rotating and he's rushing the arm. And so when the body turns, if the left side's flying open, it's going to bring the back side farther forward, right? But he's also rushing the elbow. See, look at the elbow way out front. Okay? His elbow is farther back. Reynolds is. See the difference in the elbow? And that's why he's throwing harder than him. Okay, he gets a lot better external rotation. Reynolds' arm is much more bent. See the difference?
It's like a catapult.
His elbow is low. Reynolds holds his elbow low, so we get this kind of this angle like this where it kind of dips down and then kind of comes up. Where you really kind of want to see. You don't worry about people don't throw straight over the top. Everybody is, slightly off to the side. But you really want to kind of feel like the ball starts laying back, that humerus is in line with the shoulder line. See that? See what I'm saying? See, he's got kind of a low elbow there.
It's like your bow and arrow right here.
But I can't tell which one's the infielder, which one's the pitcher. Okay, same thing. Sam, look how your infielder come out the same way as your pitcher, and you're way down there as an infielder. But you get pretty bent here. Not as good as him. Pretty good. Okay, you lay back really nice. See how your elbow and the ball is way back behind you versus this. Okay, so you got them. I like your arm action overall. I really do. You're gonna find though, as you move up the chain, if you're playing shortstop, it's too big of a windup. You watch your major league games. Nobody comes out that big. Okay, pitching move. It's a nice loose arm. It is. Are you the best pitcher on the team?
Junior high, yes, I was.
So you got a nice loose arm. No, that's what I was talking about.
It's like some reverse C there, almost like you're batting.
Yeah,
It
is.
You see the comparison?
Yeah.
Reverse C?
Yeah. At this point, you can kind of think of it as a catapult, You got a catapult here. Right through there.
Keeping your chest back, keeping your head back.
Sounds like a catapult. So, I mean, that's what it is. And the farther it lays back, the faster it's going to go, all things being equal. Okay. All right, so all right, take a look here at Miller. Okay, doing our warm-up drill. Okay, we're going to take him. All right. The ones on top are a little bit earlier. The ones on bottom are a little bit later in the day. So when we're getting the ball out of the glove, you see the ones on the left we're not going to throw. The ones on the right, we're going to throw. And so these look pretty good. This one on the bottom looks really good. The ball's not dropping down. Elbow's getting above the ball. Okay, that's pretty good. Now look at the improvement between this earlier one and this one. Okay, this still isn't as good as that, but it's a lot better than that. You see it? Look at that. Look, huge improvement. Still a little wide. Still, and it's really the widening of the elbow. It's just a little bit wide there, but that's in the acceptable range. Okay, look how much different. Look how much better. Look at that. That looks like. I mean, this is nice here. Look at that. Look at the humerus staying even with the shoulder line. Now you're getting that. See that rotation of the humerus that we want? See it rotate? You got to do a lot of rotation of that humerus work, man. Learn to turn that bone, man. I'm telling you, that's where it's at. Get that rotator cuff and learning to let that bone rotate. And it's not bad. You're rushing that elbow out a little bit. We want to feel like that arm is back there at that point. Oh yeah. Yeah, wasn't that? Were you saying yesterday it didn't pronate? I told you it was. I told you. Okay, that's major. Look how much quicker you're getting rid of the ball. You take the ball out at the same time on these two throws. See that? Look how much, you're already here.
I'm already heading.
Yeah, way ahead. Way ahead. Way ahead. So we're much quicker, but don't over shorten it. This is the pattern. Okay? Don't say I got to be shorter and shorter. This is the pattern right there. Okay? If you just keep the elbow bent, you don't widen that elbow, and you stay loosey-goosey at that shoulder joint. That's the key, man, right there. That's a major improvement. You don't, look how much less on the bottom one, you're over-rotated, everything's turning, you're over-pinching the scap, okay? Right, this is a nice square sideways position here. Everything's going in a straight line. That's really nice. Really nice.
You take one of these.
Hey, we can.